Without leaving the city of Sao Paulo, the second most populated city in the world with 22 million inhabitants and very far away from nature, we're going to show how cutting-edge science and technology are fighting against the clock to prevent the extinction of the jaguar.
Tank that contains the embryos that we've produced in Brazil over the past week. The research that we're doing is really geared towards producing ocelot embryos by in vitro fertilization, and then to freeze those embryos as a way to preserve the genetic diversity of those cats for a long-term basis. The other main advantage of doing this technology is it allows us to move animals between institutions as frozen embryos.
The first Pantera onça embryos in vitro are waiting frozen, ready to illuminate the future of this threatened species. Man does not want to lose sight of this animal, which he has admired and feared for centuries. The great cat devours the sun during the eclipse. This is how big and strong he is for the Guaranis. But 21st century Brazil has not forgotten its sacred beast. Many towns still adore her in the year 2000, as they always have. And we have verified this fact in Belém and Pará.
En mitad de la calle, en el centro de una ciudad amazónica, con calor.
In the middle of the street, in the heart of an Amazonian city, with the heat and the smell of incense. Here to worship beings which form part of the tradition and of the religion, of the culture Cabropra. Beings in this case, shaped with dreadful taste according to my point of view, by some artists, but which represent the Pompagida, which is a very dangerous dancer. A very chauvinist view, maybe, of the rituals and myths which badly influence the people of the rainforest. And the Rompemato, a strong name, but it is not its strength that helps save the Caboclos and the river people from the bad problems of the rainforest, but the onça is in front of them. We have already seen that this animal is hated and insulted, the feline that eats so many cows and does so much damage. And they even support religion, the myth and culture here in the Amazonian rainforest, with their wisdom and their strength.
They are carnivores, predators, killers. They are like contestants in the food chain with men. Because these Panthera onças like anther meat, queixada meat, which are animals that are very needed by the Parola. Today the feline is not an animal, it is an alter ego, another mortal being, dangerous, but let's say an alter ego in agreement with cultural production. It is the cultural embodiment of myself when I die. It is in this sense that they are carnivorous animals, predators that are going to compete with men in terms of worldly materials, basic nutritional material.
Aside from the Pantera onça, the great jaguar, other felines are incorporated into the unusual universe of the indigenous people. This is quite rare, not often seen and of lesser size, but equally untamed. A ferocious Marisco cat, loyal to its owners, and which slightly reminds us of the legendary Black Panther. Only the wise Zoe are able to tame their wild nature. Captured as a cub, this animal is also called a jaguarundi and forms part of the family. This is a very valuable resource, obtained in the most distant part of the Amazon, but also the healthiest, where people and animals enjoy each other's friendship without limits or problems. The Marisco cat, with its nocturnal habits, is a carnivore that likes to eat all kinds of birds. He already has set his eyes on this egret, which will have problems trying to escape. Weighing only 6 kilos and with a 40-centimeter long tail, he looks like an otter cat, an elongated, flat body that moves close to the ground. He's like a mortal shadow hunting its prey, which will never know where the attack came from. The Marisco cat lives from southern Texas to the province of Buenos Aires in Argentina and throughout all of Brazil, where it has been seen eating fruit on a regular basis, as well as rodents and birds, as we've seen tonight. Maybe for the general public, they're only great animals. Maybe within the Brazilian feline world, there are only 2 big felines, like the jaguar and the puma. We have seen that this is not true. Here I have a playful creature, which is only 4 months old and belongs to the smallest species of Brazilian felines. It's the do mato pequeño cat. It's an incredible species. The general public may not be aware of its existence, but there are people here in Brazil who have been protecting them and watching out for their future for many years. After a 75-day pregnancy, she was brought into the world weighing half a kilo. Her mother was shot to death, and now in the incubator, she's overcoming the first trauma of her short life, being born as an orphan. It's a baby tiger, one of the 6 species of small Brazilian felines. These are the eyes of a Maraca cat, another small and little-known feline, whose paws catch your attention for their length. They are also hunting weapons, ready to strike. Jaguars and pumas are the best known, but the world of tropical cats, as we're seeing, is full of anonymous relatives of smaller stature, but of great importance in the chain of life. This is the least studied species, and of course the least filmed. You're enjoying the scene of the precious pampas cat, an animal that we know very little about, but one that fascinates us with her feline beauty. Looking like a domestic cat, like a Persian breed, this sharpened, pointy-eared predator can be found throughout South America, from the Andes to the southern tip. In South America, it's called the gato pajero, for their love of open spaces. In Brazil, it's not very well known. Like every other feline species, they often have to hide to avoid deadly encounters with human beings. The way they move, is not defensive enough. Ocelots do not need to be strong and intelligent. Modern Brazil does not give them space to live, and these encounters are more and more frequent.
This is an animal that has arrived recently, a wild animal. But since he was run over, his faculties have been weakened. And he will be staying with us for at least a week or so that we can examine his wounds. And who knows if he can return to the wild. If he is not strong enough to go back out into nature, he will then participate in our reproduction program, given that this is a species in danger of extinction.
Dr. Cristina Harumi and a group of volunteer friends invest their time and money in giving back to nature all the specimens that have been traumatically stolen.